Yes, the pride of the nation. There are many prides of the nation, but maybe one national team that is at the moment not quite filling South African fans with all that joy are the Proteas, Chuck. The Proteas lost 3-1 in the T20 series against India. That last match at the Bullring in Johannesburg, India putting up 283, which the Proteas responded with, I believe, 148 and obviously failed to chase down. Chuck, big scores from the Indian boys and ultimately a convincing series win. What happened in the series?
Man, I don't know. I mean, look, Rob also suggested that he wants to test out a couple of players. I don't know if these were the opponents to test things out against, because, I mean, I remember seeing the first score, right? Because I think I went out and then I saw the score just before the change of innings. And I was like, 200. Okay, not too bad. I was like, once Jay said, we're not playing ODIs, it's T20. It's like, okay, 200 is a serious score. Let's see how we go about that. We failed in that one. Won the second game. And then from then on afterwards, they've just been putting mammoth totals on the board, Jay. When I saw 283, Jay, I was like, do I even want to see the run chase? Like, what's the point? Because that's a ridiculous number. I mean...
yeah.
I can't even fathom, like, how do you prepare mentally? Okay, from the goal we're gonna go at 15 and over or whatever. From over number one. You can't even set. Yeah, no, it was crazy. What went wrong, Jay? I think what I saw wrong is mentality. Like because what India did was they made sure that they bat first. When they put up those big totals, they bat first, and then the total is imposing, it's daunting, right? And I think our psyche or our mentality in terms of going about that chase was wrong in all those games except for the one that we won. Because I think, Jay, as much as the game requires you maybe to score 20 and over, let's start off by scoring 15. Get the feel of things, right? And then in over number 3, when we've established some sort of partnership, then we go for 20, 21, 22 to catch that up. But if we were trying to go 20 from ball number 1, you see the loose strokes, Jay. You see us get greedy at times, because I think in game number 1, Malcolm hits the first ball for a 4 or something. Like, okay, fine. The second one, he nicks behind you. Like, you just got greedy. You just started your innings out. You got a boundary. It's fine for the over. You don't have to swing at every ball. Same thing we saw with Klaas in the first game, and then you see in the latter games, game 4 and game 3 and game number 4. You see Malcolm swinging wild. You're like, Malcolm, it's fine. You got a boundary. Let's chill. You know what I mean? But what I saw, I think, as an issue was our approach to the Indian batting. The Indian bowling. Their bowling was exceptional. Never mind that they've got 200 on the board. I think they would have defended in many of those games 150, 140 because they were bowling that well. I think that standard stance of just exposing off stump and leg stump, guys, the textbook is out the window. Stand on off stump and just swing for anything, because at that point you're not trying to defend line and length. You're looking to go big. And so if you're going to take that standard approach, when you see Riza get that pearl of a ball that beats him all ends up through the gate, you're like, Riza, you shouldn't be standing there. We're trying to swing bat here. We're not trying to be methodical. We're not trying to be patient with this innings, because we have to go. So just that approach, you're going to either stand a bit wide of the wickets, stand a step outside the crease, because the bowlers, Bishno, Chakravarti, are not giving us any reprieve. So try and make them think differently. You know, for as long as you're that standing target and they've got you where they want you and they're applying the pressure, because at some point they're getting dot balls for fun and you're like, it's not going well for us. So I think, to answer your question briefly, Jay, what went wrong is that we didn't think on our feet. I don't think we had the right game plan going to those chases. And also, the biggest factor of all is that India was just amazing. India was splendid. They didn't come to play. They came and they smashed us. They were there. Yes, we had players who were inexperienced, but yeah, we were made to feel the might of Indian cricket.
Yeah, Chuck, man, all wrong. We were embarrassed. We were embarrassed. I don't mind losing, right? Because you lose like every now and again, or you lose in sport. This is a high level sport. This is international sport, and this Indian team were labeled perhaps as the B team, but we know Kohli and the captain have moved away from T20s, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this Indian team did not play like a B team, so you should expect that they'll be competitive and they'll win. And yeah, the Proteas will lose some of these games, but there's a way to lose, man. Like when you lose that heavily. Like, and I use the word embarrassed, Chuck, and I don't know if maybe I'm being a prisoner of the moment or it's the emotions of having lost and in the way that we've lost. But I feel every so often this is what the Proteas do. They embarrass us. Like, Chuck, top of my head, right? I'm thinking 2003 World Cup. We've got no business being knocked out of the tournament because of rain, and we don't advance deep in the tournament. That 624 partnership between Kumar and Jayawardene. The first ever 200 scored by a batsman in ODI, Sachin Tendulkar, happened against South Africa. The fastest ever triple century happened against South Africa, Virender Sehwag. And yeah, India absolutely love subcontinent teams. They just love like putting these numbers and these records on the Proteas. And Chuck, it's that like where it feels as if when the dam has broken, we have no backbone to respond, and which is ironic, right? Because what South Africa is known for predominantly in world sport is how we never give up. Or how we fight back, and that is most glaring, for example, in that 4-3-8 game. But that's a once in a lifetime kind of performance, you know. And when they put up 283 at the Boring, you didn't think that you'll chase that down. The likelihood of chasing that down, it doesn't matter who you are, is very slim, right? Yeah. But give it a right old go. Because when Rob Walter comes out afterwards and says, well, what's going to happen is you're either going to chase it down or you're going to fall way short. There's no in between. And I don't like that, because it feels as if what they had decided amongst themselves, like, yeah, well, we're not going to be able to get this. Even if you don't get it, like at the end, the approach, can we see the approach that we actually went out with a mindset that we're going to give our absolute best to get there, get to 250. No, get to 240, but like to fall limp like that, as I'm saying, Chuck, it's embarrassing. And in terms of the play itself, right, some things that didn't go quite right for the Proteas. First, on the bowling side, you have Ngaba Peters playing his first games in South Africa. You have Simelane, who has been recalled from the Wilderness and is playing for the Proteas. You didn't play Bartman at all, and for me, he was one of our best bowlers in that T20 World Cup. And at some point, we dropped him and never looked in his direction. And in these games, you mentioned the fact that Rob Walter wants to build a large base of players. He wants to build that depth. But then you're not going to play the players who have been selected. They're not going to get a look in any of these games. What's the point of that? Yeah. And when you do look at that bowling, you compare it to what India have, for example. Start with the seam bowling, right? With Arshdeep Singh, he's moving the ball off of the wicket. Our bowlers, it was gun barrel straight the entire time. There was no variety whatsoever. It honestly was, there was a sense that those Indian batsmen could stand there and they knew exactly what was going to happen. And there was no fear in terms of, well, I might get one that does something that I'm not prepared for. There's no variety in our bowling. And then when you look at on the spinning side of things, we had Keshav, and our second spinning option was Makram. Like that's what we go against India. Like that, those are our spin options. So there's the question in terms of what is happening in terms of the coaching. You know, there are questions around what are we looking at, and with regards to what you're looking at, is the talent pool not there? And if it's not there, there needs to be from the top to the coaching systematic wide. We need to go find players who will play the brand of cricket we want to play.